It's about time the wilderness got an update. Hey guys, what is up? It is No Help, and welcome back to another video today. So in today's video, we're going to be checking out Pole 80 wilderness changes and more. Alright, let's just start this off. Pole 80, Venenatis, Callisto, and Vedion. The wilderness bosses got a big upgrade last year, but there was still room for a few more changes to make them more profitable. A reminder that these changes are primarily intended to make these bosses feel more worthwhile to kill in groups. That being said, there are some changes to loot which should help things feel a little more consistent and less like some regular drops are so high valued that you only bank when you score a big drop. Our first change is to increase the minimum loot from 15% to 25% for the top 10 players in a given fight against the wilderness bosses. In short, this means that if you and 9 mates take on the bosses, you'll get a whopping 250% loot between the lot of you. Alternatively, if you're more risk adverse than the rest of your party and dealing less damage while in your group, you'll still walk away with enough loot to make it worth your while. We've also improved the drop rate for pets from 1 in 2k to 1 in 1500. This is amazing, man, because these pets are really hard to get. This chance is split proportionally between all participants. So a solo kill results in a higher chance to obtain a new friend. Okay, so that's obviously a good thing, because then people would just do it in mass groups to get the pet quicker. Next, we've adjusted the weight on certain drops, slightly decreasing the chance to get GP and rune pickaxes in favor of some more valuable drops. Incidentally, the number of rune pickaxes dropped has been increased from 3 to 5, and the quantity of blighted anglerfish dropped has been increased from 45 to 100. That's great. As you may have guessed from the previous few paragraphs, our aim is to provide consistent profit, but we're also trying to dilute supply drops to minimize impact on their value by that minimum loot buff up top. Accordingly, we've added new items to all 3 bosses. Alright, interesting. So Venenatis now has wilderness crab teleports, dragon daggers, battle staffs, rune plate legs, rune square shields, and mystic air staffs. Callisto now has the wilderness crab teleports, mystic robe tops and bottoms, rune kite shields, rune plate bodies, and mystic earth staffs. Vedion now has wilderness crab teleports, mystic robe tops and bottoms, rune full helms, and mystic water and fire staffs. Moving away from the big 3, Spindle's supply drops have also been made more consistent, which should enable players to enjoy longer trips to her lair, if you're not too scared, of course. I just finished that boss. I got the pet. But doesn't it seem like something's missing, something a little more unique? We have just such as something in mind, and we'll be sharing it with you very soon. While you wait, why not head to the Scorpion Pit and flex those fighting muscles? Make sure to bring your blighted ice sacks, and as always, don't risk anything you're not willing to lose. Chaos Elemental. Just a little bit eastwards, we have everyone's favorite Cloud, tentacle monster, bowl of undercooked spaghetti. Whatever the Chaos Elemental actually is, we love it, and we know you do too. Along with Scorpia, this iconic wilderness boss has a loot upgrade to make fighting it worth the risk. Rest assured that its weirder loot has remained unchanged. You'll still get plenty of weapon poison plus from this bad boy if you're after a comfy pet grind in the near future. Then you'll be walking away with a little extra pocket money. The Rogue's Chest. The Rogue's Castle is the perfect weekend getaway, if you don't mind contending with the rogues, that is. Fight your way past them and you'll gain access to the Rogue's chests filled with ill-gotten loot. Given the profitability of other thieving methods and the risk inherent to breaking into a castle full of hardened criminals, we've decided to improve this loot table too. These changes should help the Rogue's Castle stand out as a more deterministic thieving moneymaker than methods like Elves and Vires, where you're waiting for a big drop to land. The iconic Dragonstone drop is still waiting for you, but you can expect to make significantly more GP per hour than before, as long as you're left to your own devices, obviously. If you've completed the Wilderness Hard Diary, you can enjoy 25% extra loot on top, so we'd get those diaries done. If we were you. Okay, fair enough. Lastly, you have a 1 in 99 chance to snag a hard clue scroll if you haven't gotten one already. So that's very good. That's probably going to make a lot of people go there. In addition, we've increased the thieving XP from these chests from 100 to 701.7, which is a fancy way of saying you'll get 701 XP 3/10 of the time and 702 XP the rest of the time for about 200,000 thieving XP per hour. Math is fun, isn't it? Wow, that's actually a huge increase. So 200k thieving an hour, so it's going to compete with other thieving methods, say like plunder or even elves and stuff, right? Other Poll 80 changes. We've covered the major changes from Poll 80, but a handful of others are headed to the game today. Improved loot from muddy chests, including a rare chance to obtain blighted supplies and Laren's key. If you've got a sack of keys in the bank, why not see if you can convert them into Dragon High piece or two? The activate function on the Dragon Fire Shield and the operate function on the Dragon Fire Ward and Ancient Wyvern Shields now only give defense XP in both PvM and PvP. Lava Dragons have received a Holty Debate makeover in line with our modern graphical standards. Okay, so this is what the Lava Dragons look like now. So they have like the fire cape in the wing. I think that looks pretty cool. I can't even remember what they used to look like, but I'm a fan, I guess. That's almost the last of Poll 80. The last change, re-enabling the Scrying Pool, was unfortunately negatively affected by recent engine changes to instancing and is still being worked on. As you're reading this, let us know what you think of these changes and share your feedback on the usual channels. Meanwhile, we're hard at work putting together our next poll, so keep an eye out. Other changes, so Desert Treasure 2 boss combat achievements. Following feedback over the course of the past week, we've made a handful of adjustments to the Desert Treasure 2 boss combat achievements. So Perfect Leviathan now only requires you to complete 5 quote-unquote perfect kills without leaving the instance, rather than 5 consecutive perfect kills. Okay. The Whisperer and Duke Speed Chaser and Speed Runner times have been made 5 seconds more lenient. Leviathan's lightning attack now launches 1 tick later if the player is above 25 HP, consistent with its behavior prior to last week's update. All of the descriptions have been updated accordingly, so this information is all available in the game combat achievements menu. Bounty Hunter. In line with Poll 80's wilderness theme, we have a couple of Bounty Hunter changes. First up, we're improving the chances of obtaining an emblem from bounty crates from 1 in 15 up to 1 in 10. There's still room for us to make farther changes to this drop rate, but we're taking things slow to avoid overcorrecting the issue. As a reminder, boosting in Bounty Hunter is strictly forbidden. Anyone ruining the experience of players actually playing the minigame will have actions taken against their account. On a lighter note, we've also improved the XP on offer if you choose to spend your Bounty Hunter points on XP lamps. Rewards have been increased 2.5 times across the board, and we've also made it clear that claiming XP in bulk this way provides a bonus. You should receive 1% additional XP per lamp when buying between 10 and 99 of them, and 10% additional XP per lamp for any number past 100. So I guess it's worth saving those up and spending them when you have a lot. That's 10% is a pretty big increase there. Finally, bounty hunter weapons and armor can now be used on the player-owned house combat dummy. Ouch. It's interesting that they weren't able to before. Scrying. If you're thinking about heading to the wilderness this week, there's no better way to build your stats than whaling on our favorite Rat King. If these stats, courtesy of product analyst mod Enigma, are anything to go by, you won't be the only one. So the Scrying, the Rat King, 1 week global stats. So there's been 12.2 million kills, only 2.7k pets. Interesting. I tried to go for this pet, I got like 500 kills and gave up. 374,000 spines, 88,000 XP lamps, 61.7k maces, 27.5k staffs, and 25.3k bows. Anonymous, is this the number that people have made? Right? Because there's a lot more spines that have come into the game than these numbers show. But I personally liked the mace here the best, so that makes sense, I guess. But this is really cool. I love when they do stuff like this. But you don't have to go alone. As of today's update, group iron squads can select a shared instant at Scrying's lair so that the whole group can join in the rat splatting fun. Note that Scrying's spawning HP depends on how many players are in the room. When the Rat King spawns in, you'll need at least 2 players in the room before the fight starts to see a full strength 1500 HP Scrying. That's very interesting. So does this mean like if you kill Scrying with more players, it's more XP? Because I believe the boss had like what, 500 HP or something? I can't even remember. Lastly, here are a couple of smaller tweaks for this week. The cooldown on the Dragonfire Ward and Ancient Wyvern Shield special effect is now displayed on the buff bar on the C++ client. I guess they're trying to shout that out. Probably already a Runelite plugin for it. Scrying now appears in the correct position in the collection log menu. I didn't even notice that. Players are now rewarded XP more reliably when working together to fix the Piscarilius cranes. That's all for today. Good luck on the gains, and we will see you. And if you see us in the wilderness this week, please go easy on us. I will not be in the wilderness at all. And then they always plug the merch at the end of these, which is funny, but yeah. Now, huge update if you are doing these activities in the wilderness, say you're camping the bosses or whatever, right? It's easier pets now. It's a lot more flexible. There's a lot more rewards and XP to be gained, especially with that thieving method in the wilderness. That is crazy. Imagine doing rogue's chest before this week. But yeah, some great quality of life updates to the wilderness. Hopefully a lot more people go there, and maybe there'll be more PvP activity in the wilderness because of this, but you never know. If you were doing these bosses, maybe this week's not the time to go either, because there's going to be a lot more players out there to get you. But yeah, anyways, freaking text message. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.